I opened the bank app expecting to see the college tuition we'd saved for years. Instead, I saw $73.52 and an Instagram reel of my parents dancing in Dubai. They took my future for a vacation, but I learned how to return the favor with interest. Jamila had a big dream since she was just 10 years old. She wanted to study law abroad and become someone important, not just for herself, but for her whole family. It wasn't just her dream, it was something she shared with her late Uncle Ayo, the only person who truly believed in her. Uncle Ayo was kind, wise, and always reminded her that education was the one thing no one could take away from her. When she turned 10, he helped her open a special bank account, a college fund. Every birthday, every holiday, instead of toys or gifts, he would put money into that account. He also taught her how to save, how to plan, and how to think ahead. Jamila took all those lessons seriously. She never touched the money, not even once. Even when times were hard or her friends were buying fancy clothes, Jamila stayed focused. She knew that money wasn't for spending, it was for her future. She trusted her parents too. She believed they were helping her keep the dream alive, just like Uncle Ayo wanted. For years, she watched the fund grow. It became her hope. When things got tough at school, or when people doubted her, she would tell herself, "One day I'll leave this place and make Uncle Ayo proud." That dream kept her going. Her whole life was planned around it. Every test, every sacrifice. She believed her future was safe. She had no idea that the people she trusted the most would be the ones to break her heart. But at that time, she had no reason to doubt them. She thought they were guarding her dream, just like she was. The big day finally came. Jamila was nervous but excited. It was results day. She had worked so hard, sacrificed so much, and prayed for this moment for years. And then, ding, the email came. She opened it with shaking hands, and when she saw the words, her eyes filled with tears. She had been accepted. A full conditional admission to one of the best law universities in South Africa. Her dream was finally coming true. All she had to do now was pay the first tuition fee and secure her spot. Smiling with joy, Jamila logged into the bank app to check her college fund. This was the money she and Uncle Ayo had saved for years. The money that had kept her going through all the hard times. The money she never touched. She waited for the app to load. Her heart was full of hope. But the moment the screen showed the balance, everything inside her froze. $73.52. That was it. That was all that was left in the account. Jamila stared at the screen, confused. She refreshed the app, thinking maybe it was a mistake. But no, the money was gone. All of it. Tears began to form, but this time they weren't from joy. She felt dizzy, her hands cold. Where did it go? She whispered to herself. Still trying to understand what happened, she opened Instagram to distract herself, and that's when the real pain hit. Right there on her mother Binta's public account was a video, her parents dancing in Dubai, laughing, eating expensive food, riding camels, and shopping in gold markets. Post after post of luxury. The dates matched the weeks she had been studying for her final exams, barely sleeping, barely eating, holding on to hope. Jamila's heart shattered. She scrolled in silence, each video stabbing deeper than the last. She remembered when her mum said they were just visiting a cousin abroad for a week. She had believed them. She had stayed behind, saying no to parties, no to new clothes, and even skipped her own graduation dress just to stay focused. And all that time, they were on vacation, using her money, the money meant for her dream. She felt sick. Her own parents, the people she trusted most, had taken her future and turned it into a holiday. Her loyalty, her discipline, her sacrifices, they didn't matter to them. They used the money like it was nothing. Jamila wanted to scream, but no sound came out. All she could hear in her head was her uncle's voice. "Protect your dreams, Jamila. Not everyone will protect them for you." And now she finally understood what he meant, Jamila couldn't sleep that night. Her heart was heavy, her mind racing. She kept staring at the bank app and the videos. She didn't want to believe it, but the truth was right there. Her parents had used all her college money, and they didn't even tell her. The next morning, with tears still in her eyes, she went to them. Her voice was shaking, but she asked calmly, "Where is my college fund? Why did you use it?" Her mother, Binta, didn't even look sorry. She shrugged and said, "You can still study here in our country. Why go abroad? We deserved that trip. We needed it. You'll understand when you're older." Then she laughed like it was nothing, like Jamila's dream meant nothing, like years of saving, sacrifice, and hard work were just a joke. Jamila stood there frozen, hoping her father would say something better. But no, he made it worse. Simba looked up from his phone and said, "Just apply for a student loan. People do it all the time. Stop acting like it's the end of the world." Jamila's chest tightened. A loan? After they spent her money? Money that wasn't theirs to touch? She felt like screaming. She wanted to shout, "How dare you take my future and turn it into your vacation?" But they didn't care. They acted like she was being dramatic. Her parents smiled at each other, proud of their fun trip, while she stood there, with her world falling apart. It wasn't just about the money, it was the betrayal, the lies, the way they acted like her dream didn't matter, like she was just a silly girl chasing something too big. She had trusted them. All her life, she believed they were saving with. She believed they were proud of her dream. But now, she saw the truth. They were never on her side. They thought about themselves first. Always. Jamila walked back to her room in silence. Her body felt heavy, her eyes burning. For the first time, she truly felt alone. Not because she didn't have people around her, but because the people she loved most had chosen themselves over her. She looked in the mirror and said to herself, "No one is coming to save you, not even the ones who said they loved you." In that moment, something inside her changed. The pain was deep, but something else started to grow. A quiet fire. A voice inside whispered, "They may have taken your money, but they won't take your future." Jamila stopped talking to anyone. Days passed like a blur. She didn't eat much. She barely slept. Her room stayed dark, just like her heart. She felt empty inside. The people who were supposed to protect her had broken her completely. She thought of all the late nights she stayed up studying, all the things she gave up, the small dreams she pushed aside because she believed in one big dream, to study law and make her life better. Now, it felt like everything was over. Her hope, her future, her trust, all gone. She didn't even cry anymore. The tears had dried up. She just stared at the ceiling, feeling like a failure, like nothing mattered anymore. Her phone buzzed with messages from friends congratulating her on getting into the university, but she didn't reply. What would she say? That her own parents stole her dream. One night, around 3 a.m., she sat up in bed. She couldn't breathe. Her chest felt tight. She opened the window for air, and something made her look at the old bookshelf in the corner. Slowly, she walked over and pulled out an old box that belonged to her late Uncle Ayo, the only person who ever truly believed in her. Inside, there were papers, a few photos, and a small brown notebook. It smelled like him. She held it close to her heart before opening it. The pages were filled with little life lessons, quotes, and advice he used to share with her. She smiled through her pain. Then a small folded paper fell out from the back. She opened it slowly and it read, "If you ever fall, learn how to build, not beg." Jamila froze. It felt like he was speaking directly to her from beyond. Those words hit deep. She read them over and over. She cried again, not because she was sad, but because she felt seen, understood, reminded. She whispered to herself, "I've fallen, but maybe I can still build." That night, something changed. She didn't magically feel better, but for the first time in weeks, she felt a tiny light inside her, a spark. She realized she couldn't let the pain destroy her. Her uncle wouldn't want that. He believed in her when no one else did. And now, it was her turn to believe in herself, even if no one else did. That night was the start of her comeback, even though she didn't know it yet. Jamila didn't have much. Her dreams were crushed, her heart broken, and her trust destroyed. But she still had one thing, her old laptop. It wasn't fancy. The screen had a crack, the keyboard was missing a few letters, but it still worked. That was all she needed. She also had access to a neighbor's Wi-Fi. It wasn't strong, but she used it late at night when everyone was asleep. She was quiet, determined, and angry, not in a loud way, but in a silent, fire-burning inside kind of way. She went online and searched how to make money from home with no degree. That one search changed her life. She discovered graphic design, virtual assistants, social media work, jobs people were doing from their bedrooms for clients all over the world. Jamila didn't know anything about these things at first, but she wasn't afraid to learn. Every night she watched free YouTube videos, took free online courses, and practiced on her broken laptop. At first, she made small designs, They weren't perfect, but she kept trying. She joined online groups where people shared jobs. She offered to work for free, just to get experience. Slowly, she got her first paying job. $20 to design a logo. It wasn't much, but it felt like gold to her. It wasn't about the money. It was proof she could still make something of her life. Jamila became better and faster. She saved every penny. She stopped buying anything that wasn't necessary. While her parents still posted old pictures from their Dubai trip, Jamila stayed quiet. She didn't tell anyone what she was doing. No updates, no complaints, just silent growth. Then she started a blog, but she didn't use her real name. She wrote under a secret name, sharing her journey, how she was rebuilding her life after being betrayed. Her writing was raw, honest, and emotional. People found her blog and connected with her pain. They shared her posts, left comments, and cheered her on, not even knowing who she really was. More clients came. Her income grew. She no longer had to beg anyone for anything. She was still in the same room, with the same old laptop, but now she had power, her own power. She was building something from nothing, just like Uncle Ao said. Jamila was still hurting, but now she had purpose. She had a plan. She had her dignity back. The girl they tried to break was rising, quietly and strongly, and soon the whole world would know. But for now, she was happy building in silence. Jamila kept working in silence. Every day, after finishing client work, she wrote on her blog. She still didn't use her real name. Nobody knew who was behind the blog, but everyone felt connected to the story. Her words were full of pain, truth, and hope. She wrote about betrayal, starting from zero, and fighting back without making noise. She didn't try to sound perfect. She wrote like someone who had been through fire and survived. Soon, something unexpected started happening. More and more people found her blog. Young Africans, especially girls, began sharing her posts. They said things like, "This story feels like mine," or "Whoever you are, thank you." Some cried while reading it. Some got inspired to start their own journey. The blog grew fast. Within months, it wasn't just a blog, it became a movement. Then, Jamila got an email from a small local brand. They loved her story and wanted to partner with her for a campaign. She accepted, using her fake name. One job led to another. Then, a big African beauty brand reached out. They didn't just want a blog post. They wanted her to run their online marketing. Jamila was shocked, but ready. She delivered amazing results. They paid her well. Her confidence grew. She realized she could do more than just write and design. She could lead. So, quietly, she created a small team. She trained 2 other girls she met online, both going through tough times like hers. She taught them the same skills she had learned. They worked together, all remote, all hidden behind laptops. The team grew. More clients came. Her blog kept shining. People began calling it the anonymous voice of African girl power. In just 18 months, Jamila turned her pain into a powerful online agency. It trained young girls in digital skills, helped them find jobs, and gave them hope, just like she once needed. Money started flowing in, more than she ever imagined, more than her parents ever made, even in their best years. But still, Jamila told no one. Her parents didn't know. Her neighbors didn't know. Even the girls she trained didn't know her full story. Why? Because she was planning something big. She didn't just want revenge. She wanted impact. She wanted the truth to hit harder when the time was right. So she smiled quietly, worked harder, and waited. The girl they once ignored was now leading silently from the shadows. But soon, they would all know her name. Life started changing fast, but not for Jamila this time. It was her parents, Simba and Binta, who now faced the storm. One morning, Simba came home early. He looked tired and broken. He had been laid off from work. Just like that, his company let him go. No warning, no second chance. All the money they had enjoyed before was now gone. The house felt quieter. No more loud music. No more laughing about Dubai. No more expensive perfumes. Their savings started drying up, one by one. Then Binta got sick. At first it was a small illness, but within weeks, it grew worse. The doctors said she needed treatment, and it wasn't cheap. The hospital bills kept growing. Simba and Binta started to panic. They needed money, a lot of it, and fast. So Simba got an idea. "Let's use our retirement fund," he told Binta. "That will cover the hospital bills." They were so sure. That fund had been there for years. It was meant for their future. All the documents were kept neatly in a file under the bed. Simba pulled it out, smiling. He logged in to check the account online, but something was wrong. The balance didn't show. He tried again. Then a message popped up on the screen. This account has been legally reassigned. Simba's hands started shaking. He clicked deeper. Then he saw it. The name listed as the new controller of the fund, Jamila Ayo, his own daughter. He thought it was a mistake. He called the bank. They explained everything. The fund was never fully his. It was under Uncle Ayo's trust. And as per the trust rules, the full control shifted to Jamila when she turned 21. It had already happened, quietly, legally, without anyone noticing. Simba dropped the phone. He didn't know what to say. They had used her college fund to take selfies in Dubai. Now they needed help, and the only money left belonged to the same daughter they betrayed. Binta, weak in bed, asked, "What's wrong?" Simba looked at her and said, "It's gone. The retirement fund, it's Jamila's now." For the first time, they both sat in silence. No excuses, no laughter, no pride, just silent fear. Meanwhile, Jamila sat in her tiny apartment. She had seen the bank login alert. She knew they had tried. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply closed her laptop and whispered, "Now you know what it feels like." The game had turned. Karma had knocked. And this time, it didn't knock gently. The door banged loudly. Jamila looked up from her laptop. Her heart didn't race. She knew this day would come. Outside her small apartment stood her parents, Simba and Binta. Their faces were red with anger, tired from worry, and full of frustration. They didn't even knock properly. They pushed the door open and walked in like they owned the place. "How dare you!" Simba shouted. "You locked us out of our own money. You knew we were struggling," Binta cried. "You watched us suffer. How could you do this to your own parents?" Jamila sat still. Her room was quiet. No TV, no music, just her calm breath. She looked at them, not with hate, but with something stronger, control. For the first time in her life, she had the power, and she didn't need to raise her voice to show it. "I didn't take your money," she said softly. "Uncle Ayo did." Simba blinked. "What?" Jamila pulled out a file from her drawer, the same one her uncle had left for her, hidden with care. She opened it slowly and laid out the papers on the table. "This trust fund was always under Uncle Ayo's control, you know that, and he left it to me, legally. On my 21st birthday, it became mine. All of it." Binta's mouth dropped open. "But we thought—" "You thought it was yours," Jamila interrupted. "Just like you thought my college fund was yours. You used it like a holiday voucher. You took my future, my dream, and turned it into Instagram reels." Simba stepped back. The words hit harder than any slap. "I didn't take revenge," Jamila continued. "I just followed the rules you ignored. You taught me that money is for enjoyment, not for dreams. But Uncle Ayo taught me something better. If you ever fall, build, don't beg." That's what I did. Tears filled Binta's eyes. "We were desperate, Jamila." "I was desperate too," she replied. "But you laughed at my pain. You told me to apply for loans. Now you want my help." The silence in the room was thick. "Then help us," Simba finally whispered. Jamila stood up, calm, strong, unshaken. "I will, but not with money. I have a small business that trains women to earn online. You can join the next group. There's work available. If you're ready to earn, not take." Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't blink. Simba and Binta said nothing more. They left, slower than they came in. Jamila closed the door gently. She didn't smile, but inside, she finally felt something real. Peace. Jamila could have been angry forever. She had every reason to hold a grudge. Her parents had taken what was meant for her future and spent it on a vacation. They left her with nothing but broken dreams. But Jamila was different. She wanted to be stronger than pain. She wanted to be better than bitterness. So when they came back to her, asking for help, she didn't shut the door completely. She looked at them carefully. Their faces were tired and worried, but also proud. The same pride that made them take her money in the first place. Jamila knew they wanted an easy way out. They wanted her to give them money, to fix their problems without any effort on their part. But she had learned a powerful lesson from Uncle Ayo's notebook. Build, don't beg. "So," Jamila said calmly, "I won't give you money, but I can help you in another way." Her voice was steady, full of quiet power. "I run a small business that teaches women digital skills like graphic design, social media, and online work. It helps people earn their own money. I want to invite you to join. If you are ready to work and learn, you can be part of it. Her parents looked shocked. They expected her to hand over cash, not a job offer. They hesitated. Binta said quietly, "We don't know how to do those things. It's too late for us." Simba added, "We just need money for now, that's all." But Jamila shook her head gently. "It's never too late to learn, but I won't support anyone who wants to take without giving back. You used my future like a vacation. Now it's time to work for your future." For the first time, her parents felt the weight of their actions, but they refused to accept her offer. They wanted quick fixes, not real change. They left without saying much more. Jamila closed the door behind them and stood there quietly. No tears, no anger, just a calm strength she had never felt before. She wasn't going to fall back into the trap of forgiving too easily or letting them use her kindness like before. This time, Jamila chose herself. She chose her dreams, her hard work, and her peace. She knew forgiveness didn't mean forgetting or letting people hurt you again. Forgiveness could have limits, healthy boundaries that protect your heart. And for Jamila, that was the most powerful lesson of all. She was no longer a girl who lost her college fund. She was a woman who built a life on her own terms, and that made her unstoppable. Jamila never stepped foot inside the law school she dreamed of for so long. The plan she had since she was 10 didn't go as expected, but what she built instead was much bigger than any degree could offer. She turned her pain and disappointment into a powerful purpose. Jamila created a life full of meaning and success that no one could take away from her. With the money she earned from her digital business, Jamila started helping girls in her community. She knew what it felt like to have dreams crushed and futures stolen. So, she made it her mission to fund education for young girls who couldn't afford school fees. She wanted them to have a chance, a real chance, to build their own dreams without fear. Jamila's business also trained many women, giving them skills to work online and earn money independently. But her work wasn't just about money or skills. Jamila spoke to families too. She shared her story and taught parents the importance of trust and legacy. She wanted everyone to understand that saving for a child's future isn't just about money. It's about respect, honor, and believing in their potential. Her message spread across her city and beyond, inspiring many to protect what truly matters. Jamila's life became a quiet, strong rebellion. Instead of revenge that destroys, she chose revenge that builds. The kind of revenge that shows strength by rising above betrayal and creating something unbreakable. She didn't need to fight her parents or prove them wrong with anger. She showed them and the world that her future was hers to control. Her success was her answer. The business, the girls' education fund, and the change in her community, these were the real trophies. They were hers because no one could take them away or use them for selfish reasons. Jamila's greatest victory was building a legacy they would never touch or control. In the end, Jamila's story is a lesson for anyone who has ever felt betrayed or lost. Sometimes, your biggest revenge is not to break others, but to build yourself so high that no one can ever bring you down. She turned a stolen dream into a life goal bigger than she ever imagined, and in doing so, she found true freedom. If someone has ever stolen your dreams, don't get even, get better. Jamila's parents took her future, but she built a life they could never touch. Tag a girl who needs to hear this. Share this if you believe in turning pain into purpose. Drop it in the comments if you are choosing to rise. Sparkle